Imagine a society perched precariously between lush, lake-filled valleys and the ever-present threat of conquest. This was the world of the Aztecs, a civilization obsessed with order, hierarchy, and the appeasement of powerful gods. Justice, swift and often brutal, was not just about retribution. It was the bedrock upon which their entire world rested, a means to maintain balance in a universe they believed teetered on a knife's edge. Forget our modern sensibilities for a moment. To understand the Aztecs, we have to understand their justice, a system where the line between the sacred and the profane blurred, and where punishment was a spectacle as much as a deterrent. From humble beginnings as nomadic mercenaries, the Aztecs rose to dominate Mesoamerica. By the 15th century, their empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. This meteoric rise wasn't just about military might. The Aztecs were shrewd diplomats, forging alliances and ruthlessly exploiting their enemies. Central to their success was a codified legal system. Judges, often nobles, presided over courts, dispensing justice according to a sophisticated set of laws that governed everything from commerce to religious practice. This wasn't some barbaric free-for-all. It was a system designed to maintain order in a vast multi-ethnic empire. For the Aztecs, the gods were not distant entities. They were ever-present forces, demanding constant appeasement. Their justice system reflected this worldview. Punishments were harsh, often public spectacles designed to placate the gods and deter further transgression. Capital punishment was common, carried out in various forms, each more gruesome than the last. But death was not the only option. Mutilation, disfigurement, and enslavement were common punishments, their severity calibrated to the perceived severity of the crime. This was a world where the weight of the gods pressed heavily on the shoulders of every citizen, and punishment was seen as a necessary evil to maintain cosmic balance. Section 4. Theft, murder, and heresy, crimes and their punishments. The Aztec legal code was surprisingly nuanced, with punishments tailored to specific offenses. Theft, for example, could result in enslavement, particularly if the perpetrator was unable to compensate the victim. Murder, especially if premeditated, almost always resulted in capital punishment. Religious transgressions, seen as a direct affront to the gods, were punished with particular severity. Public blasphemy or desecration of sacred spaces could lead to being burned alive, a gruesome spectacle meant to appease the offended deities. Even seemingly minor offenses, like public drunkenness or disrespecting one's elders, could result in harsh penalties. In the Aztec world, justice was about maintaining social order as much as it was about divine appeasement. Section 5. Maintaining the cosmic balance. The rationale behind Aztec justice. To view Aztec justice through a modern lens is to misunderstand its fundamental purpose. This wasn't about rehabilitation or even necessarily deterrence, though those elements were present. It was about maintaining a delicate balance. The Aztecs believed their world was constantly threatened by chaos, by the forces of darkness that lurked just beyond the edges of civilization. Their brutal punishments, carried out in the name of the gods, were seen as a necessary sacrifice, a way to appease these forces and maintain order in the universe. It was a system born of a worldview alien to our own, yet one that speaks to the very human need to find meaning and order in a chaotic world. Section 6. Whispers from the Past. Stories of Aztec punishment. The annals of Aztec history are filled with accounts of their justice system in action. Take, for example, the case of a nobleman accused of plotting against the emperor. His punishment was swift and brutal, a public execution in the heart of the city. His heart was ripped out, offered to the gods as a bloody sacrifice. Or consider the fate of a commoner caught stealing food. Instead of execution, he was sentenced to slavery, forced to work off his debt to society. These stories, passed down through generations, offer a glimpse into the realities of Aztec justice, a system that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring in its severity. Section 7. Legacy of the Stone Temples. The enduring impact of Aztec justice. The Aztec Empire, like all empires, eventually crumbled, conquered by Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century. Yet, the the legacy of their legal system endures. The very brutality that shocks us today speaks to a worldview fundamentally different from our own, a worldview where the sacred and the profane were inextricably intertwined. Their system of laws, with its emphasis on order and hierarchy, influenced the development of later Mesoamerican societies. Their story serves as a stark reminder that justice is rarely about absolute right or wrong. It is a reflection of the values, beliefs, and fears of the society that creates it.